Look at this. Peter is still out and working out.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm almost home.
Peter, how are you?
Good. How is everyone?
Good. It's a beautiful day here.
Yeah.
Weather-wise, how's Berlin? Cold?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cold.
And this year, no Christmas markets to warm up either.
Oh.
No, better.
Yeah. Okay, Eugene, did it work? Yes.
Yeah, I'm starting to paste all that there now.
Okay, good.
Got a few more left to go.
Okay, I'm gonna take this out. Close. And then I'm gonna do boom.
You are as quiet as the students I teach all week. Yep. And teaching art online is the most difficult thing you could imagine. So, yep, same. I feel home.
Why are so many art classes quiet? Mine is so talkative and loud.
I don't know. Teenagers, maybe.
Oh, you teach teenagers? Okay. I teach older ladies. We talk.
Oh, yes. Do they have wine also in their hands?
No. I don't think so. But I talk a lot and I joke a lot, and then they keep talking. And then I teach with Santa Ana College, and so there's another teacher who teaches also. So if they want a quiet time, they go there. If they want to talk, they come to my class. So my class has 30 people. Her class has 6 people. So that's how it is.
So Connie, do we want to do, I've got everybody's info in there, and for, I know what we usually want to do. Connie and I are Kunsthaus RoZig, and what we usually do with this is we will first run through the gallery once so everybody can see all the pieces. And then I think after that, we can go back and then the artists that are here can talk about their pieces that they have, and Connie and I will introduce you. Does that work, Connie?
Yeah, we should do, but the first the run through is really short. It's like a 5-minute, you know. So I think that's a good idea. Let me do that and go in there.
So Connie, can I just ask, is this being broadcast on Facebook also?
We haven't planned on Facebook because it's just such a big video. So we wanted to upload it on YouTube, but you can definitely link it to Facebook.
Okay, because that was the link that I put in my bio on Instagram. Was the
Yeah.
Facebook link. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that should work. So here we go. Okay. Now I just have to, I have to share my screen. Let's do this. It's probably the easiest. Okay. Okay. You guys can see the show?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure, and then we're gonna do start guided tour. Okay, here we go.
Oh my God, this is my
So this is 3 pieces from Violetta.
Müsst ihr mit Kamera Video starten? Video.
Yeah. Video starten?
Ja.
Okay. So. Hello.
We can hear you.
Oh, where is the moment? Where is the
radio?
Yes, what? Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I'm I'm from another computer, so the name is a bit different. But I'm here, Violetta. I'm here.
Oh, okay, Violetta. Hi.
Hi.
So what we said, we're just gonna run through the whole show once, and then we go back.
Okay.
I
I
do have,
totally love the red walls.
Yeah,
I'm
me
very-
too. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's a really good contrast for everything. It works really well.
Eugene.
I'm amused that you guys keep changing the gallery every month, though.
Yeah, we're getting better at it too, you know. It's like in the beginning, it was just to figure these things out.
Well, we have different rooms that we get to choose from all the time. So
Mhm.
depending on what we have, we'll choose a different room for it.
Looks really great.
Yeah, beautiful.
This one we have to play then when we go closer. It's a video.
Reflection.
I just love the way everybody's work is and what a beautiful way to display it and share it. It's just so amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, looks good.
I agree.
We had to do something because, you know, we cannot go there anymore. Well, some galleries, they have like private showings though.
I haven't been to the Walt Disney Concert Center in a while, and that piece brought me back to it. So it's sort of like being in, in LA at an art show again.
I love this.
This
This
one's
is
so great.
awesome.
They're all great.
So this is Debbie's art and these are sculptures. So we haven't really figured out how to display sculptures yet. So that's the reason you have the picture, you know, from the back.
3D scans.
Love it. Works really nicely.
It looks good.
Fine.
There's Christophe.
Yay, there's me. There's me twice.
Nice.
Looks like
That's mine.
wow.
Love
Nice.
that.
Wow.
And this.
And,
That's me again.
I love the flow of it.
and then you have another one.
This is me too.
Great stuff.
Hello.
I love this one.
They're so great.
David.
Amazing. The works are so beautiful.
And you made the gallery, and all the artists go now through the picture.
How did you manage to get such a good good quality of the pictures, of the photos?
Well, I actually used what people sent me.
That's step one.
It sounds good. That sounds good.
Okay. No, but yeah, okay.
You have to. The thing is, like, this website is like it's a German website, but so they have inches and centimeters, and in the beginning I did not pay attention to that, so some of the stuff was like really distorted, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? And then I saw that. So after I figured this out, and then there's certain things you have to put in, also like width and all the stuff, and you can actually do frames around it too. So after you figure this out, it's just tedious work, but it looks good afterwards. And the website, we looked for a while. Oh, thank you guys. And we looked for a while, and this was really the ones where we liked the most, the tours, the quality, and what you can do with it too, how to do it, you know, tweak it to your own likings.
Well, that was part of the reason too why we needed files around 5 megabytes when we requested that, because that definitely affects how it's going to appear in the gallery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, thank you for your work. Really, it's I mean, to put it all together and to make it real, like, you know, so.
Well, you're welcome. We're really glad that it turned out so good and that you all like it too. And it actually makes it so beautiful because it's your art we're displaying. So.
And it's fun. I've done the guided tour several times, and it's a really wonderful way to kind of just go through the whole show and get the diversity of style and images that are in the show. I really love that.
And you can pause it and then pick it back up. If you go in by yourself, it's a little confusing because it moves the other way, like you move. So if you move your cursor to the right, and then sometimes it spins you around. So it's a little complicated. So yeah, I like
a glass of cocktail or wine then.
Right, and then you're dizzy afterwards. All right, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for submitting your work. We were really actually overwhelmed with how many artists we had too, and it was just so beautiful. And we decided to just cut it down that we can have as many as people as possible actually in this exhibit. And yeah, so I asked already, so you guys are all okay with English. If somebody is not comfortable, just in the chat box, you know, I can help out. So und tag etwas Deutsch. All right, so Eugene, you want to start?
Yeah, do we want to put back up the gallery, share your screen, and then we can
start with the artists. Okay, let's do this. You probably, the thing is, like, I cannot look at your notes because when I share the screen, you know, we have to look at the gallery. So you might have to.
Oh, okay, then I'm fine
it all or something. Yeah. Okay.
That.
Okay, so let me do share screen. Let's do that, and then go back into this, and so we're still on the guided tour, so we can just I think at least press next, right?
One more
start tour. Yeah, I'm just gonna go then for the next one, but the first one we have here from Violetta.
Yes, hold on 1 second. I've got one Word file to find.
I can probably pull it up on my phone actually.
Stuff, which I did have it up just a second ago. Here we go. Okay, so the first one we have Violetta the Saga, and we chose 3 pieces from this selection, and I just had that up. So in the order, it'd be Ich bin, Beyond, and Phantom Pain. Violetta, you're here, yes?
Yes, I am.
You want to talk a little bit about these pieces?
Yes, well, I can only say that this is abstract art, and I can talk about the periods of life when I created it, but in general, I think abstract art should not be described by the artist, but should be left to the audience, you know, leave the freedom to the audience to actually reflect it, because everyone sees absolutely different things. And if I show them what I see, this is not part of my job. This is not what I want. You know, after the painting is done, it's like it's not mine anymore. It belongs to the audience. It belongs to the world. So
yeah, that's beautiful. That's like, you know, this is what art is. Everybody, you know, should see something different in it.
Well, and I agree with that too. As an abstract artist too, I get more enjoyment, even though I do have themes that run through it. I get more enjoyment from what others see in it. And I think that has more meaning that way.
Okay, let's go.
Can you tell about the technique for the blue one? What's the medium you used?
It's acrylic on canvas, and I've swiped a lot of paint away because I actually wanted to show movement. It was very important for me to show the movement, and I was thinking how. And I realized that the more paint is in it, the more movement you lose, at least for this particular painting. So I swiped a lot of painting away, and I washed it several times. So it's quite unique to reproduce it. I would love to reproduce it or to create similar things, but it is quite unique, you know, because it was a part of the process of my evolving or of my message, and that was so strong that I cannot repeat it anymore.
How big are these? How big are these?
This one, this Ich bin, I am, it is 80 centimeters and 60 centimeters, yeah.
Thank you.
The first one is 2 meters long and 150 centimeters, yeah.
And I would suggest to everyone that you can click on the little icon on the top and it will give you all of the details of each individual item, like the dimensions, etc.
Right, except the dimensions, what this one shows is the dimensions I put in to display the art as big as I could.
Oh, I see. I was wondering about that.
I have another tab actually in there where I always put original art is this and this size, but somehow that doesn't show up here and also not in a PDF. So if anybody's interested in buying or something, they should ask for the original size because it's not correct. How you see it here.
Oh, yeah, maybe because of the inches, you know, I tried to change it into inches. And I work usually with centimeters.
Yeah. Yeah, I lived for 22 years in the United States and I still don't know what an inch is.
Okay.
I hear you, Connie.
So many times out of concept, that's shit.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, everyone has their definition of that.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the third one from Violetta, and then it's very beautiful. Okay, so we are, I have to pause this. We are at Yvonne.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, Yvonne.
I'm fine. I'm fine. So you can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And yes, just first to say I'm very proud to be part of this. It's the first time I'm joining such an opportunity. I would like to talk a little bit about this word of reflection, because the idea of reflection was so strong to me that it came to me that everything I do is going through the idea of reflection. And the two images you chose, there are two children. I mostly do children because reflection and is something that children are very close to reflection, because they're seem to be part of a parallel world, much more than grown-ups seem to be. And the idea of reflection, I think, just even today, in those strange times, seems to me a way to get into the inner world, because the outer world seems to stand still and the inner world seems to offer some things we perhaps do not really get to when the world is so much rushing around. And I was writing to you some words of Novalis because I'm a German person. I studied literature, and the Novalis and the German Romanticism is very strongly connecting to the inner worlds and to the idea of reflection. And everything you learn about the world, you learn inside yourself. And I think those both images create this cosmos of looking into the inner side, and then perhaps you can get out of it. And the first image you see, it's both are made of wood, but since 15 years I've been doing embroidery on paper, and now I started since a year, I started to work on wood, and the idea of embroidery on wood seems to me very interesting, because even wood, which seems to be such a hard and strong material, sometimes is fragile, and this fragility is also for me a part of this reflection, because there's you can go from the inside to the outside and back, and reflection, I think, is connected to those both worlds.
I love this piece so much. I love the dimensionality of it. It's, you know, the texture of it. It just feels so gorgeous to me.
Thank you.
Are we allowed to comment on previous pieces and ask questions about them? I might have been a few minutes late, so I might have missed some stuff that was established.
Yes, we had Violetta so far, and Yvonne is the second one.
No, I was there from the beginning of the show. I just wanted to make sure it was all polite and okay to do. Yvonne, I love both of these, but I really love the first one, what you were saying about children in terms of, you know, how you viewing them as existing as reflections and as in a parallel world almost. And I love how, when I first looked at this piece originally, because I went through this gallery before the other day, and this one, it struck me as being like so cosmic almost. It's almost like she's looking at a reflection of herself in a puddle or something. And in that, there's just like this swath of space all around her. So it's almost like in reflecting on herself, it becomes this sort of cosmic thing. And I think that's really neat. I really like what you did there visually.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for making it.
Yvonne brought up a good point, I think, because when Connie and I came up with the theme reflections, it kind of seems with everything that's gone on where we all are and have been. So we kind of wanted to get everyone's interpretations of that. So that's very spot on.
Yeah, it's a very nice and wide theme you can actually use. Also, Yvonne, you in Berlin, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so Yvonne is another German artist here with us. If you hear something like this is my dogs, I'm sorry, they make this noise sometimes. Huh. Okay, let's restart.
Yeah, and next should be Eric Sanders. Do we have Eric here?
Eric. Doesn't seem like he's here.
Okay. And we have these two pieces. The first one is Dante's Gate, and then the second one's Begging for Mercy.
Yes. Let's see if I see, this is what I mean. This is there we go. I just could see them a little bit closer. There we go. Okay, so this is the first one. And then because Eric is not here, we're just gonna go to the next one. Exit detail view. Let's see if I can start this tour again. Yes. Okay, and the next one will be Sarah Wilson, are you here?
I'm here.
Yay, awesome. Let me stop this pause. And there we go. Sarah, if you want to speak a few words about yourself, about your art.
Well, I'm a filmmaker, but I also paint. And I don't know, for me, reflection, I have lots of pieces that I thought that would make sense in it, but I'm always going back to the core idea, which is love. And the crown there on her, like a décolleté, I guess, is in Arabic, it says love. And so I'm always about the going back to like empathy and love, and you can't go wrong, you know, if you've got empathy for people. It's so it's, you know, that's about it. I mean, it's just like pretty blue, makes you feel good.
It's gorgeous. I love this piece.
Yeah, cool. I like the blue hair.
It's actually
one of my favorites.
a veil. It's a
Oh,
yeah.
that works too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it could be hair. It could be blue hair. So yeah, it's just and then the other one is the first one's called Love Warrior, and then the other one is America. Echoing my feelings about my complicated relationship with the country that I was born in. So
Wow. What a concept.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Say it, man.
Acknowledgement.
Everyone can relate to that.
So yeah, that's it.
Wunderschön.
Beautiful pieces, Sarah.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
I just want to say something real quickly too about the symbology in the picture. I thought the image on the left, the crescent moon, you know, really struck me and helped me, you know, understand kind of the Islamic sensibility of the piece.
He's getting it, Ramadan.
And I get the stuff with the, you know, the America stuff on the one on the right as well, which is in some ways much more, I don't want to use the word ugly, but the feelings feel more ugly to me in it than the ones on the left, which feel more peaceful and beautiful.
Absolutely.
That's just my interpretation.
Thank you.
Complicated feelings about the country. That's the name of the game when it comes to art, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go to the next one.
Next, I believe we have the video from Desert Movement Arts.
Yes, Soup Sweat now. Does this all the time.
Nice.
Wow.
So this is Andy Stone here, and Constance, I can't see you on the screen. Anyway, this is a piece that our dance improvisation movement collective made for, can you hear me, everybody?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah, we
I'm
can.
sure. I have, okay. So, so I'm not sure if you're all familiar with National Water Dance, but we submitted our piece. Unfortunately, COVID came up. It was supposed to be a live performance. We are an improvisation, collaboration group of movement dancers that specifically perform on-site, outside dance movement. And so National Water Dance was an opportunity to submit our work, which actually became this video, which is, as you can see, reflections of Earth, the environment, and it's basically based on the awareness of water and ecology and the land of the desert. Here in Palm Springs, the Coachella Valley, we are of the Kaweah Indians. This is the Kaweah Indians' land here in Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley. And so the video, as I mentioned, this entire performance was really supposed to be outside, enjoyed by everybody. It wasn't anything for profit. It was just really a work of love and a participation for National Water Dance. And National Water Dance was really about the climate change and awareness of climate change and bringing awareness of our environment and basically about water. And as you can see, we choreographed, there's a beginning phrase and an ending phrase, and then in between our collective choreographed. It was really a work of basically myself and Constance, and I can't see you on there. If you're there, say hello.
I'm here, Andy.
Oh, Constance, please join in.
Yeah, and I'll just say that, you know, we were going to do this as a site-specific group piece. And then when COVID happened, what we decided to do was split up into our respective areas. Some of us went to the site, but in this part right here, this is one of our movers at her house or at a nearby park. And so we all shot our video and then sent it to Jamie Grace Davis, who is also part of the collective, and she made this this beautiful video, and she's using overlapping, obviously overlapping dancers, the same two dancers at the same time, and then different dancers. So I think Jamie Grace is on the Zoom call if she wants to chime in and say anything.
Hello, hello, thank you. Yes, beautiful to see this amazing group. It's a pleasure to be part of this. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Constance. And it was an honor to work on the video and dance with everybody. It's nice to see some very interesting art from all around the world. And thank you very much.
Okay, I think we're at the end of that video. So there is some beautiful music that is was created, composed in the pandemic. It's from Kaylee Lane Eaton. It's called Pandemic Journal, and that's the music that plays with the video if you see it on YouTube. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Connie and Eugene and fellow artists for letting us participate. It's absolutely gorgeous presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Does anybody has any questions? Want to ask any questions about the video?
I saw that somebody brought up the way it was filmed, that it was kind of evocative of watercolor. I don't know who said that, but I thought it was interesting. Somebody said it in the chat. I guess we could just look there.
Yeah, we said it. It's like, you know, silk prints and watercolor, and the movement is really gorgeous. The way that the images are overlapping, you get colors that you don't normally see. So the filters and the overlapping really created a beautiful imagery.
Yeah, almost like a silk screens or like some prints from the 70s and 80s. It's very lovely. And it's a beautiful concept and idea.
Yeah, I was when I watched this video for the first time too, it was almost like, and I never took LSD, but I thought like it must be something like because of the colors too, and you know the over double exposure and the overlapping. But it was very beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah,
Like
you
a
should say yeah.
dreamscape.
Okay, let me go to the next.
Well,
Okay,
next,
we got that.
oh yeah, okay.
Mm.
Jason Jenn's one, isn't it?
Here we
Oh,
go.
yeah, we got
Now,
Edward
let me
now.
pause. There we go.
Do we have Ed here?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, Ed.
Hello.
These two are the painted part are they're based on abstractions taken from photographs of the subsistence craters from underground atomic explosions. It's kind of convoluted just to get a nice pattern, but that's where they're abstracted from. The colors are a bit oversaturated, but that's okay. Then the collage element on both of these stems from medical information from prescriptions I take. And so the computer, when I run the programs to abstract it, that kind of resolves the pattern and allows me to then concentrate on other elements as the collage in this case. And they're acrylic and ink on paper with the paper collage part on them. So that's just kind of the rundown of them, that's all. Oh, and the little circle in the middle of the painted part is a Bible page, of course. So it's just the basics of them.
I'm sorry, Ed, I'm a little confused about how you explain that. Are these digitally produced, or is it a mixed media collage?
They're paintings on paper with the lines on them are ink, I believe, and then there's a collage element. The wording and stuff is all collaged, paper collage on it.
Okay, but you had mentioned that there are images of an underground atomic explosion.
Yeah,
where did that come from? I find that really interesting.
If you have the coordinates, the longitude and latitude on Google Earth, it'll go anywhere. So they give you can get the exact coordinates for each one of these underground tests. And you go to Google Earth and you will get all the satellite imagery. And so I select one I like that I know, because there's several depending on when the satellite has photographed them, and run it through a program on the computer, which simplifies it, abstracts it, and that thing, and it kind of resolves the color and the composition of the painted part for me. And then if I want to do collage, a series of collage or various this or that, I can kind of do a personal part on a more generalized piece, kind of combine two things in one piece. So it's, I know it's kind of convoluted, but that's where the imagery is abstracted from. You wouldn't know it, but that's what it is. And then the titles are the specific test, atomic test. So each one's titled after the test. You could put the title in, search it on Google, and it will tell you what the test is, the year of it and everything like that.
Thank you so much, Ed. That's really interesting. And I was really interested. I wasn't able to read all of the text when I looked at
I know.
Online. So it's really interesting to me to understand what what this is reflecting.
Yeah, that's all medical information, from prescription drugs and stuff.
Okay.
So I can combine personal issues with more larger scale issues, if you will. This is kind of odd, but it works for me visually, so I like it.
I
remember.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jared.
No, I didn't want to talk over anyone. You can go ahead.
I just wanted to say I think it's fantastic. For me, when you're talking about the medical stuff and this explosion, the chemicals explosion, it really makes me feel like, what we're doing to our bodies when we take our prescription pills. I'm on prescription pills also. So I totally, this resonates with me. I think it's beautiful. And there's also beauty in the grotesque of like annihilating, like, the decimation of our
Yeah, I used to work quite a bit with the atmospheric ones where you knew what it was. You knew it was an atomic explosion, but slowly I migrated to these underground ones because there's literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And so it gives me all kinds of material to work with, and each one, like snowflakes, are different. And so I can play with the color a little bit and the computer for making the patterns and stuff, and then it's just execution of how I want to build each series, basically.
I love it.
Because not all the series have this prescription stuff. Each series of test I handle differently.
It's awesome. Sarah actually said a lot of what I was going to say. I agree with all of that about,
Me too.
yeah, the sort of comparison between the contrast, I guess, of what we put into ourselves versus what we do to the world, which I guess could be considered the collective version of all of us. So I really like how your artwork is sort of is microcosm the right word of, the things we do to ourselves and to the world sort of coalesce
It's kind
together.
of a macro and micro level.
Yeah, exactly. It's micro and macro simultaneously, and I think that's really neat. Also, I've seen your work on Instagram. If I'm remembering correctly, are you the one who did what I thought was initially a bunch of stars?
Probably, because a lot of the work I've been doing the last several years is using this patterning. Like
Very
this.
cool. Yeah, I was looking at your stuff online. Really neat.
Thank you.
All right. Oops.
Yeah, in the same situation on that.
Oops. And the next one should come up. I misclicked.
Don't make us spin yet.
There we go. All right, I'm lost. Eugene, you're up.
Hey, Eugene.
Hey, these ones are my latest abstract series that I started, and I'm going to be doing quite a bit more. But these ones are based on Greek daimonis, which are not representative of demons, so to speak, when some people will look them up, but they're the personifications of different feelings and emotions, and they're personified that way. The first one is Thanatos, which represents death. The second one, if you want to go over a little bit, Connie.
Yeah. Give it a second. It's coming.
Yeah, so good.
There we go.
Is Calais, and that is representing beauty. And then the third one I have is Oasis, which is misery. But these are all using brand new metallics that I started working with. And the one in the middle is a mirror metallic, and it's really hard to capture on a photo image, but it actually looks like almost like foil in the reflection. But I'm very
Put together?
serious.
Are they a triptych or are they individually?
Individual.
Okay.
I see some of them behind you.
Yeah, that is them.
You know, I really love these. One of the things that makes me think of, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember a couple of years ago, I started seeing a lot of this, a similar symbol, I think, pop up in relation to pieces related to sexual equality and stuff like that. Was that connected to this at all or not?
You know, that
To
wasn't,
like pride and stuff like that?
it wasn't intentional, but when people brought it up, I'm sure that's probably part of the subconscious of it. But I actually got the idea to do these from a much larger piece I called Achilles that actually had the bars in it. And it was, I saw it accidentally because I had painted the background first and laid it outside, and the sun shone through a fence and made kind of graphic sunshine thing on it with bars. So I painted that, and I had lost that piece a long time ago and wanted to kind of recreate something again. But I'm sure that's probably part of the subconscious too.
It's really interesting. I like the idea though that it's from the sun shining through something, so that either whether it's connected to it or not, there's still sort of this an optimism sort of literally radiating through it, even the one that's about death, so that's really neat.
Thank you.
Something interesting it reminds me of, in Hinduism there's a god Shiva, if you've heard of him. Have you?
Yeah.
So the Shiva, they usually put a shivling, like it's like a black form like that. It always has 3 marks like this on each of your painting.
Oh.
Like it symbolizes destruction and all sorts of spiritual meanings it has. It's very interesting that both the black ones, and it also reminds me of a band-aid, like there's an injury and it's being covered up.
See, this is the reason why I like other people's interpretations when it's abstract, because you get the better stories of what people see in it, and I love that.
Yeah, I remember the first show we both did. It was interesting too how people with you, there's always this series you did, there was always a face appearing all the time.
That always happens.
Which was interesting. So now there's no faces, to me at least. I don't see faces right now.
But I also see the 3 bars as like consistent through all the 3 images. And to me, and this is just my personal interpretation again, but it's like a big E for equality.
E for Eugene.
Yeah, or an E for Eugene. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but that's kind of, I think, that we all take representations from culture and then, kind of translate those into something that's abstract or isn't representational. And that's just my, what I kind of put onto this. And I thought they were political.
No, I love that. Well, and I think even from everyone's comments, all of that is part of me. The pride, the political, I study a lot of mythology, I've done world religions, so it kind of all really culminates into the pieces in themselves, even though they may not be intentionally done. But a lot of art is subconscious anyway.
True that.
For me also it's very interesting because Eugene and me were friends for a while now, and it almost tells me what state of mind he is when I see his current paintings. So I don't have to worry about him right now. I know he's okay.
Oh, but that's how I get everything out too, is onto a canvas.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. They're gorgeous. I love those pieces. Okay, let's go.
For next, we should have Gabriela Dumitrescu.
Let's see.
I'm last.
Oh, you know what? Yes, you are.
Right. No,
the
okay.
next one should be Ryan, actually.
On the wrong list.
Mr. Ryan. Okay, pause. There we go.
Mr. K. Ryan Hennessy.
I'm here. Oh, wait.
There you are.
So these are 2 acrylic paintings, acrylic and marker. The whole set of these was about capturing the landscape on the human body. And then the whole body of work became about how we manipulate the landscape. And in doing so, we in turn manipulate our bodies and desire and all of those types of things. But, at their heart, they were, let's make something beautiful and sexy. And I had a lot of fun painting them.
Wonderful. Yours is another one where I was really just scrolling through everything you made on Instagram, and it's fantastic. There's a lot of art. I pretty much did that with every artist on here whose Instagram I found. But yeah, this was among them.
Thank you. I appreciate
And I love
it.
what you said about using the body as a landscape. I tried to utilize a similar concept on one of my pieces a long time ago when I was first starting doing this. I had a piece called Landscape where it was following the contours of someone's back, and then when it got to their butt, it sort of became some hills in the distance. And I don't think I totally successfully pulled it off, probably, but I like what you're saying here about how the body and the landscape are both things that are molded by people, really.
Yeah, I mean, like the big thing for me was the word that kept coming up as I painted this whole set was commodification.
Yeah.
And for me,
Well, especially because it's very LA.
yes, very much so. And the crosses, right, the power lines, right, which make these really bold crosses, and they're just everywhere all over the US landscape, right? To me, they became this really clear symbol of man's mark on nature, right? But then when you reflect on that mark on nature, it's a really useful tool because it's giving power and communication to humanity. And so I wanted to reflect, you know, both kind of this, the scary things and the beautiful things at the same time. I think I got more of the beautiful and the scary is a little subtle, but I know it's there, so it makes me happy.
That really works.
Thank you.
I like how on the other one too, I should have mentioned. By the way, are you talking in a gallery right now? Are you at a gallery right now?
Yeah. I'm at tag. We're open.
You're at where?
He's a tag.
Are you
gallery.
at Tag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I've been wanting to get into
It's
Tag.
open, and you can head over there anytime. It's open Tuesday through Saturday.
I don't know when I have the
During the
freedom
day.
to, but I would like to.
Appointments.
No, I was going to say though, really quickly, on the next one, what I really like is sort of how you thematically tied in the lay of the land with, you know, the sexuality of the human bodies. The fact that, I mean, yeah, there's a nighttime hill and it looks like sort of a sunrise or a sunset. So that's, you know, the calming aspect of two people being together. But it's also literally, you know, there's the street light right there, which makes me think about sex being the cross section between two people in a way. It's the way people cross the street to each other, which sounds very euphemistic, I guess, but maybe it is. I don't know.
No, you actually have it just right. I think the daylight.
It's the intersection of people.
Yeah, and the daylight gives the road away a little bit more. The hill, it's hard to see, but and in the photograph, it's hard to see. But there is a little bit of a road that cuts through the blue figure too, going across the hill. It follows that fence line, and then there's a break. But yes, it is kind of that idea that they're two separate pathways that are crossing each other. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Thank you. I love it.
The yellow, the yield light is that it makes me feel like, you know, sex isn't just, you know, green light go, but it's like little by little, you know, make sure it's good. Like the yellow really speaks to me, the yield light, like it's not just go for it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think every relationship needs to come with a caution sign. But also, so these are from the figures for this whole set. I collected from pornography. So these are all still images or used in a pornographic context. And then the background images are all from my own personal landscape photography. And so the yellow light on the yellow background was actually just a fun capture of the camera. I can't take an intentionality of that. It really was about the yellow on yellow when I took the shot. But, you know, like Eugene said earlier, there's always something going on in the subconscious or the collective unconscious, right? That's telling you what you need to make or what the message needs to be.
I just wanted to say comment because I see so much connection between nature and human interaction in your paintings. It's like the sun, like the nature, the landscape, you know, you paint the landscape and I see this like intercourse between nature and humanity.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, I was chewing, but like, especially in like gay male culture, the way sexuality is like connected to like nature, almost in like a primal way. That's something that like your work has always like touched on for me, and like cruising culture and like how that's like very primal. So yeah, I like it.
Thank you. Yes, all of that's there. And that's like, I think a lot about, especially when I'm using the male figure, I think a lot about how gay male culture online uses their own personal body, right? And there's been I think a somewhat healthy shift in the last year or so. It still needs a great deal amount of work, but I do like that we're seeing a lot more real bodies rather than model bodies in social engagement. But to me, that still feels new. So, you know, but yes, thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. The queer culture is definitely at the heart of what I want to hit.
I particularly love the left one, the one where the proud, beautiful pose that that guy has. That sun, I now only when you told me it's a landscape, I realized that it's very sexy, it's very poised and very like confident in this thing. But then that red sun almost looks like a bruise, like a love bite or a disease or something. It's really like this one, the left one, it's particularly intriguing to me.
Thank you. Yeah, I've played with those photographs a lot, the landscape photographs there, and they're from Los Angeles. So they're looking at the Hollywood Hills, but heading south. So the ocean is behind that blue hillscape in the background. And I like that you say bruised, because that's often what I think about those photographs, that the sun is bruising the landscape with all those blue and purple colors, right? And you get this kind of blood red oranginess out of it, right? So there's even kind of a you know, beautiful kind of abusive feel to the source image before you even get there. And then I don't think you can discuss pornography without discussing the abuse that it does to the people that are engaged in it, to the people that are consuming it, et cetera, right? Like I'm you know, not gonna shy away from it. Like obviously I'm a consumer of pornography on some level because I'm using it in fine art. But at the same time, it's not the most healthy human interaction out there.
Beautiful.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for sharing. Who is next? Let's see.
I believe it's Thomas Christians.
Thomas, that's right. Thomas, bist du da?
I love this one.
Is Thomas here? Thomas, bist du da? Doesn't seem like he's here.
I agree. I really love this one too. It's so simple, but so complex.
I wonder how many he did to get to this one.
I know this is part of a series of 3, and Connie and I chose this one for it, but he does have 2 others that accompany this one.
Yeah, and if you look at his Instagram, he's playing around with this before too. You can see it. But okay, let's just go to the next one.
Then we have Peter Kalisch on the next one, and this one's Addiction.
There we go. Peter, you're up.
Everyone, thank you for having me as a part of your show. So yeah, this is a new painting I made, and I wish you could zoom in to see like, so basically the medium of it is silver leaf, polyurethane, and textile ink. So the imagery with like the black and the pink is it's actually like a woodcut from 1486, I believe. It's like a French woodcut that was based on the 7 deadly sins, and this woodcut is based on gluttony. So long story short, like I have I'm pretty public in my work about like my struggles with addiction, and in this lockdown I sort of had another turbulent relationship with drugs and alcohol. And I really wanted to put all of that pain and turmoil and like vulnerability into an artwork. And someone mentioned like a little bit ago, the dichotomy between the beautiful and the grotesque, which is always like something I'm trying to access in my work. And a method for that I found is like being vulnerable and honest with the audience about the struggles I might be going through. So yeah, that's where the idea of having this like decayed, decrepit like silver leaf comes in, because gold and silver leaf kind of references like high quality stuff and like beauty, you know, typical beauty standards and stuff. And then I kind of just like to fuck with it. So yeah, I guess that's
You were cutting off. We cannot hear you.
Am I back?
Yes.
You're back, yes.
Okay, yeah, so there's just a lot of like torment and you know, pain that went into this piece, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw other works of yours, and we were together in the queer exhibit that Ryan did, and I have to say I really love your work. I was excited, you know, when you submitted, and so Eugene and we chose that piece because it was speaking a lot to us. But like I said, I really love all your work, and I think as an artist you have to be, or we all know, you have to be vulnerable to produce your best work, and it's painful sometimes, but it's also a relief to get it out, and it's almost like I don't know if it works actually all the time, but I think sometimes when you do that, it's like you're beyond then the pain. You put it out, you put it into a piece, and you can actually move on.
Well, Peter, I want to say thank you for your honesty about the work. I really can understand the addiction struggle in that piece, and I love the pink. I love the pink is just kind of screams out to me. It's a really powerful piece.
Yeah, I agree. I really love the pink. I love the wood block. And what I really love about it, and I encourage you all to go check out some of Peter's other paintings, because they're very textural and frenetic. But what I really like about this, Peter, is that you're taking that idea of reflection with the silver foil and playing with it in the way that you did with your mirrors before, your acrylic mirrors. And I really like that you're playing with a reflective substance, but still discussing that conversation about who you are on the inside versus who you are on the outside, and how they don't necessarily agree with each other. I think it's really beautiful.
Agreed.
One thing I just really like to discuss in my work too is like the public versus private persona of the artist. Kind of like, as an artist, you project a certain like, I don't know if brand is the right word, but there's like certain things you want to project to the world publicly that represent you as an artist and as a person. And like, just the disconnect between that and like your true primal self is always something I'm trying to explore. And I think as artists, the more that we expose these parts of ourselves that we like maybe feel shameful about or whatever, we can kind of like transcend our ego-driven desires a little bit. So yeah, I just really like what you said about reflections there, Ryan. Thank you.
Okay. The next one.
Me, everyone. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next one we have up is Dennis Gary Lopez. Are you here, Dennis?
Yes, yes. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me as part of your show. Certainly I've enjoyed seeing everyone talk about their work so far. This piece of mine, Julius Caesar, was part of a series I did of a bunch of Roman leaders during the fall of the Roman Republic. And it was earlier this year. It was definitely inspired by reflections, but a bit more of a historical, futuristic perspective of reflections instead of self-reflections as much. This pandemic has kind of already made it aware to me, as I'm sure it's probably aware to all of you too, that between this, our friend Mr. Climate Change, who's probably going to get a bit more intense as the years go on, that we're in for a chaotic decade ahead of us. And I find that a little exciting because I think we may have a new age of heroes as part of that. For instance, around like World War II, the fall of the Roman Republic, a few other times where you kind of have some figures become almost godlike as we reinterpret them through history. And I think part of that, during part of those chaotic times, there's a bit of a thirst for individuals to become gods and to rise a bit above the current limitations of our species. And so I chose Caesar for this particular piece because I think he, especially compared to many other leaders of his time, had some pretty ambitious leanings. I think there's something very hazy in the pursuit of power as one tries to put their stamp onto the world in front of them. And it was kind of this, I guess, just feeling of a very chaotic and interesting time ahead of us that had me kind of thinking over some past times and how we've gotten through chaos.
I only got to hear a small part of what you said because I had to go do something really quick, but the bits I did hear, I agree with so much because I heard about what you were saying about, climate change and what I would hope would be a time for, new heroes and stuff like that, and not just corporate evil or things like that. So in a way, it's very aspirational, and I like that you're making art that talks about this.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and I obviously hope that too, not only from a benevolent perspective, but I feel like it's so boring too when you have kind of corporate fanaticism taking over the world. It's not even for like a cool reason that they're destroying the planet. It's not like, I personally would be more okay with it if it was, say, they had Hitler's secret like grandchild and they had some insane dreams of taking over the world, or they wanted to resurrect Jesus or something. But it's just like the fact that we have all these bad things going on in the world, and it's this master plan for very wealthy corporations to make even more wealth if they pull it off. I agree.
Yeah, if this were the plot to a movie, it'd be a pretty lame movie, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Couldn't agree more.
Dennis, I have a question about, because I was hearing what you were saying about new heroes sort of being catapulted into the spotlight. Do you think that we're coming to the end of this idea of like one person saving the day? And it's more about the collective whole saving the day?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I don't know if we're coming to an end to it or not. I do think it is a good litmus test for whether we're kind of evolving more as a species or not. I think when we get to the point where there isn't a sole hero as much anymore, and there's more of a movement of people all working in conjunction, that probably means a good thing for humanity. Since we don't put all of our hopes and dreams onto someone who's very likely a flawed individual. And I think probably the decade in front of us is going to be a very good test to see if we've gone that far or not.
Well said.
Okay, let's go to the next.
Next one is Larry Caveney.
Hey, I'm here.
Hello.
Here we go. Hey, Larry.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, right on. You know, it's interesting, the prior image of that central figure and its verticality is very interesting within its archetypical kind of idea of the male ruler and things like that. And, you know, this idea of the ladder for me, ladders to heaven, whatever, started when I was like, I started a gallery in my garage in San Diego back in the day, and I was very makeshift, of course. And I found this ladder next to a dumpster, and I couldn't afford a ladder, so I started using it. And it was very rickety, you know, in the sense of like not very stable and not very dependable. But it still got the job done. And every time I would apply myself, change the light bulb or whatever, I was always grateful to get back down. And so this image, you know, just this functional idea of the ladder, this tool, and looking at it without the notion of function, this the aesthetic quality, pushed me toward doing some sculpture initially of these very kind of makeshift kind of ladders that represents this expectation of something, and then you know, sculpturally doing that, and then moving toward this, which is a collage based on you know, I was working on these paintings, still working paintings in acrylic, but when I moved out here to Arizona, the air is so dry that paint was immediately drying quickly, too quickly, therefore appearing to be overworked. So some of these paintings I would cut up and do these kind of collages. And one of the first collages was this ladder motif, you know, thinking about the futility of this idea of maybe the idea of logic versus faith. You know, so many people are depending on faith versus actually doing something in science and that kind of thing. And that ties into the biblical reference to the Tower of Babel, you know, and building this ladder to heaven in hopes of maybe escaping. What is it, you know? So yeah, the idea of the ladder, which I've repeated with this collage series, kind of represents that.
It's gorgeous. Love it.
Thank you.
Blues are beautiful.
Yeah, the colors play really well together too.
I love the broken one on the edge. It comes down, it's dismantled. I love that one.
Yeah, I think it comes to the kind of the dissolve or the conclusion of the idea, that one right there, you know, that it does just dissolve, you know. And I've got this one I constructed in my yard. I have a front yard gallery. I got rejected from a local gallery in Tubac, and I said, fuck it. And so I strung a bunch of clothesline and started hanging paintings in my front yard.
I love it.
And so I've got one of these sculptures. It's like one of these rickety ladders, you know, that's, as soon as the monsoon comes through, I got to reconstruct it, you know, which is fun too, you know. It just lends to that, the futility of it all. And so
Larry?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to step away a little bit, so I'm coming back. The material that you used for the last ladder that is appliqued on the collage, what material is that?
Again, these are deconstructed, overworked acrylic paintings that I've cut up and I'm utilizing for collage right now. And you know, I'm just kind of, you know, weeding through, you know, looking through the work that's lasting and within its, you know, integrity, and then the ones that could be reworked or the other ones that could be destroyed. And some of these are destroyed, and then it's, you know, that's the kind of reflection right now. It's just like going for it and breaking them down and cutting them up and reconfigure them into these kind of ideas. I'm also going back into some portraits and doing some reconstructive surgery of some collage.
Later.
Yeah,
Beautiful. I really love the textures.
appreciate it. Yeah, and this is so fantastic. The whole idea of this Zoom thing, I would never get this level of focus on each work with the context of reception, you know. So intellectually, it's just really great. I'm getting a lot out of it.
I love
thank
it.
you.
Thank you, Larry. I really agree with that perspective.
Right on.
Let's go next. There should be.
Also, this is much safer. I would not feel safe going in a private gallery for even if there are 3 people there. I don't want to go. This is much safer and much more better discussion also.
I totally agree.
Here we have another video. Jason, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna play your video first. I don't know with the music or the sound, because the other video, I think the sound was too loud at some point when the people were talking. So maybe just let's play this and then we talk about it. Would it work?
If you want. I mean, it is meant to be a meditation. So if everyone wants to take some time to just sort of breathe in the waves for a while.
Okay, I love it.
We all need more meditation right now. That's the inspiration behind it. If you can hear the sound.
Yeah, you can hear the sound?
Oh.
You cannot hear the sound? I can hear the sound.
You know what? It's really low, and I'll just go ahead and speak. And you know, I think people can go through again and check it out. But I do hope that people will allow themselves to take this as a visual meditation. This year really has been about bringing more of a meditative approach to my art and to create a lot of video work that serves in a sort of subtle subversion, in that it creates this experience which there's deeper meaning to it, but it slows people down and invites them to, you know, dive into it and come up with different interpretations. But this is from an experience while reflecting upon the exhibit reflections of walking along the ocean and just being immediately struck and stunned by this natural reflection in the sand. So what you are seeing, there's no digital manipulation other than the lights, which I combined this natural reflection of the pier in the sand under the boardwalk there and the waves coming in. And I love this moment of the seagull came into frame and then disappears. But I combined it with marquee light images from downtown Hollywood and created that so that it was a reflection, so that you have these busy lights which are meant to be like the thoughts inside your head and the busy action in your head combined with this very natural and meditative imagery.
Oh, great. I love this.
So yeah.
Wonder what the sound design is like on these.
I take sound and then slow it down to about 50%. It's also it's the natural ocean wave sound, and then also combined with some free music, copyright free music, but I manipulate it a little bit and slow it down so that you're also getting sound waves slowed down. It has a very unusual sound to it when you slow music down.
Wow.
I really like that even with us talking over it right now, it's very
I know.
calming. I'm just sort of transfixed on it right now, actually. I think my favorite moment is when the seagull walks into frame, because it's almost like a reminder that, like, even with all this life and light going on, you know, you could still be tranquil, even with life moving fast and coming in and out of frame. You know, you can still calm down a little bit and take a moment to breathe. So thank you for making that.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. I've been rather grateful actually for some aspects. The silver lining of COVID is to slow down, and I've been to the beach more than I have ever been this year than my past 21 years living in Los Angeles combined. I'm, getting to the beach often is my form of therapy and exercise.
Yeah, it's a beautiful job, Jason. Amazing. And I love seeing this fine art version of your beach porn that you've been throwing at all of us.
I have been sharing a lot of beach porn. There's a lot more that I could share, but I'm like, it's a lot.
It's all right. We need it.
That's my favorite spot in the beach, too, under the pier. It's so tranquil and peaceful and shaded. It's beautiful.
And I agree about the pier. The pier kind of grounds the whole piece for me because there's so much movement in the piece, and yet the pier is kind of solid and there and kind of grounds me. And becomes a place where I can, like focus a little bit. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but I love the construction of the piece.
Yeah, thank you. No, absolutely. There is that intention of the structure. If you can see the last image there, I'm trying to create so that the lights also are taking on that same shape.
Do you think, because there's a sound piece that comes with this, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I can't hear that, but the question of it comes to mind, John Cage, with the context of language and noise and music and sound and these coming together equally in some ways. I think the sound would be very important. Seeing this at this point,
yeah, thanks for that comment. Yeah, John Cage has been on my mind quite a bit actually, and I have been enjoying doing the sound design where I am using other people's music, but I am changing it. It's free and copy free anyway, but to alter it in a way that it and to fit it. In some of the videos I've done this year, I've made it very specific when I want the music to change and how I want it to change. So with various pieces, it alters. And then I have worked with a lot of original musicians as well, but my partner's been telling me to do more of my own sound design and sound creation. And so that's in the works for some newer people as well.
That sounds exciting. The idea, it's so visceral, the idea of John Cage and how he brings texture to things and parallels imagery. But congratulations. I really enjoy this piece.
Oh, thank you.
What I really like about it is, you brought in the Hollywood lights there, and I adore, I like going to the beach, and I really adore LA, the great things about LA. But one thing about it is that it is so hectic. So it's almost like you brought the light and the glamour and the hectic energy of driving in LA, and you transplanted it into somewhere that makes you feel at peace. So that's a really wonderful thing.
Cool. Yeah, I try to, when I'm driving, also take this, approach of, I get, there's the typical getting stressed out by being in gridlock or something, which fortunately we're not having as much right now. But we still have a rush hour, but I've been looking at it a lot differently the past couple of years in terms of I have another video art piece where I've turned the freeway into a cathedral, and to me, the structures of freeways and things. So I'm always trying to find some other way to look at it that can bring peace in a otherwise very stressful situation and have fun while, we can't avoid the pain of getting around Los Angeles.
I've seen this idea of like capturing space to kind of create a tranquil space, within it, and a reality of going into a space and altering it, and where someone could walk into it as installation. where you can actually experience the presence of that tranquility, versus a gallery or whatever,
Yeah,
And that might be just like going into an alleyway and just changing the light, or something like that, and offering up some audio too.
Yeah, great thoughts. Yeah,
beautiful, Jason.
Thank you.
And then our next one up is John Weiblinger.
That's right. Here we go.
Well, hi,
John.
everybody. I don't know if you can see me. I can't always figure out the screen on Zoom because I can see Connie right now. These are both of my images that I submitted for the show. I guess what I just want to say is the theme or the concept of the show is what I was trying to think about. And for me, Reflections is all about light and how we see light and how light plays with us. All of my work is what I call post photography. I am using images that I have appropriated from gay pornography and then combining them with images that I have taken and to kind of transmit or explain how I see it in my mind. And so kind of that's my intention. And I know we're running out of time, so I don't want to, talk too much longer.
Oh, but these are such gorgeous pieces. And I have to also comment that I love the tenderness that is shared. And then in the one on the left, and then this sort of super saturated with like media and the outside world in the one on the right. And for curators, you did a great job, I think, of putting this wall together because the three artists here, I love being next to Karen and John.
Thank you, Jason.
I really, there's sort of a, I don't know what the word would be, the dots that make up the four colors in older comic books. The purple one really makes me think of that. And I love that, you're absolutely right, Jason, about the tenderness of both of them. But while they both have the tenderness, this purple one has the heat behind it and has pop and energy. So I really like that you did that. I think that works really neatly.
Thank you, Jared. I just want to, the origin of this piece, it's really interesting. I'm talk a little bit about my process. I was at the Los Angeles Gallery for Digital Art in downtown, and I walked out the back door to go to the bathroom, and I came out into the hall, and there were these glass tiled floors, which I just was totally mesmerized by, and I had to take the picture. And I said,
I knew exactly what they were. I've seen them before.
Yeah, and I've got to use that in a piece that I do. And so that's the origin of this piece. And that's kind of a part of my process, is that I'm always walking around looking at, what's interesting out there that I can do something with. And that's kind of how the art stuff works for me. And I find it to be a really relaxing and beautiful experience. And I hope that I can communicate some of that feeling in the work.
I think you do.
I think you
Thank
do. John, I'm sorry.
Totally. Oh no, I was just saying I agree. Love you, John.
Thank you, Ryan.
When I saw this piece for the first time, John, for me, it was like, I didn't really like just skimming it for the first time, just really fast looking at it. It was like, for me, it reminded me of the days when I went to the boy bars in West Hollywood. The color, and then seeing this guy, naked, and all the boys are half naked there anyway all the time. So that was for me just like the fun piece of West Hollywood, partying, like, and I don't know, Revolver, the bar or something, with all the screens and stuff. So the other one is definitely gentle, more gentle. Even this one is very vulnerable too, actually, I have to say. I love both of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
John?
And yes.
Oh, I was going to ask, the one on the right have you printed that one on metal? Is it like super reflective all on its own?
Yes, thank you. And that's part of, I was going to say something about that. The one on the right is printed on aluminum and the one on the left is printed on paper. And part of my process too is thinking of what medium do I want to present my things in. I've also printed things on silk, which provides a different kind of feeling. So part of the process too at the end is thinking, well, how do I want to show it? You know, what's the best medium to, you know, put it into? And I like aluminum. And I know you do too, Karen.
I do.
Okay, let me go and go. This will go next.
And
all right,
our next one up, speaking of.
Here we go.
Yes.
So the purple piece is called Lilacs in Gloom. And the piece on the left is called, what's that one? That one is New Passion. So each of these pieces have begun with a single image of a flower that I distort and reflect.
Okay.
Right. Create many layers and stitch them together, a lot of masking to create these energy mandalas. And yeah, so these two pieces are actually probably from the first year that I was working in this form because they have dots on them. So the first iteration of this project, I included these sort of icing on as frosting on the cake of my pieces. Sorry, Siri just talked back to me.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating, Karen. Like the colors and everything, it just draws me in. It's almost something like I can smell and almost I can taste it too. It's just so yummy. It just seems so yummy to me. I don't know. It's just beautiful, just gorgeous.
Perfect. Thank you. The colors really are derived from the flowers. I don't do a lot of post-processing, but on the actual photograph I'm using, I draw from the flowers and I don't oversaturate them. It's what I capture in the camera is what comes out color-wise and the form. Interesting, the one on the left is probably one of the only pieces that I've done where there are parts of it that I didn't reflect. The tendrils coming out of there are more of what was actually in the image than the reflections that I did. And then in New Passion, I just love how the forms are, I don't know, I see sentinels and I see altars, and this one has a very energetic feel to it, where some of my works might be a little bit more peaceful, but this one is just like, wah! It's sort of, and the dimensionality, I think, just works beautifully.
I see little people. Love that.
Thank you. The in the kind of pink form in the center, there's I see kind of like little goddesses, and then maybe between the green leaves, these are what I call sentinels. Oh gosh, Siri's gonna talk again. Shut up.
Apparently Sentinel sounds just like Siri. Sentinel sounds exactly like Siri, apparently.
Evidently.
Yeah.
I think that was twice. So there's a lot of shading and modeling to get the dimensions, to get this sort of 3D aspect to it. And we're talking about how the printing method on my digital work. For a while, I had settled into working on aluminum, but these two early pieces were created before metal prints were available, and they're acrylic, so they're also very shiny, glossy, which I think adds a lot to the crispness of the images that I'm presenting. I've actually gone back to acrylic because I like the depth on acrylic. I don't like the weight of acrylic. Aluminum travels easier, let's just say.
It's funny that it said it makes you think of Christmas, because maybe it's because Hanukkah's right now, but I was sort of seeing a Star of David in it. So
Actually, very, very good. The first year when I actually had been moving out of working in Judaic art, and part of my rule making for these pieces, because I like assignments and I like rules to work by and to work against, but they would all be 6-pointed stars. So the first year that I worked, everything was a 6-pointed. As I continued working on this series, and I've been working on it for probably about 10 years, I moved away from the 6-pointed star, and just the first thing I did was a 4-sided thing, and that had sort of a cruciform feel to me, and it took me a very long time to kind of reconcile that I was creating something that wasn't Jewish, but that might be considered not Jewish. But again, as I play with the different symmetries, I get totally different energies from that. So I'm starting to explore a little bit more into numerology to figure out what the rest of the world feels about the different energies of numbers.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank
you, Karen.
Thank you.
I think I have up Tom Lasley, and this is another 3D one, but Connie and I haven't quite figured out, we eventually will, but haven't quite figured out the display of it. So only displays 2D here, but still, it's a piece I really love.
Yes.
Yes. Well, hi, and thank you for having me in this great group of artists. I do dioramas and tableaus, sometimes in shadow boxes, but not always. I use found objects that I kind of supplement with items that I'll seek out that kind of contribute to the story I'm trying to tell. It's all very autobiographical, and I mean, for me, this represents a very specific moment in time, almost a day practically in the early 80s. I made it much more recently, but well, I'm not sure if I should say exactly what I'm depicting here, but it's called Hi Mom. And it was kind of, I was on TV very briefly on a soap opera, and it's kind of about that day and that moment.
Were you watching the music video for Take On Me?
The video for Take On Me, yeah, right?
Yeah. No, is that what the eyes are from?
No, that's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay.
Yeah, that's an old headshot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
See, when I saw that, I was thinking of Take On Me, and then you said 80s, and I was like,
funny.
oh, wow, I'm on the right path here.
Yeah. Well, that's the 80s look, I guess.
It's very neat. It's very suburban.
It's that's what it's rooted in. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it feels a lot like you took, the elements people associate with suburbia. I mean, I don't have the background of being on TV, but so to me, when I see the white picket fence and the television, is that Marlboro's at the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a Ken doll? Blue there,
Disco ball.
There's all this stuff that I associate with being, white suburbia. And it's like you took all the elements of it and packed it into a little space, which is really cool.
Well, first of all, when I say that I was on television, I'm talking about 2-bit parts on a soap opera, not a big deal. But, you know, of course, it seemed like a big deal to the folks at home, you know, which is sort of what that picket fence is all about. So it's sort of about, it represents sort of what was for me the glamour of that moment, as sort of having come from the more suburban background.
A real integral part of the piece to me is the idea that it's on wheels. I would love to see it in person because I would want to move it. I would want to roll it. That's a part of the piece that really speaks to me.
Well, I can see that, but they're not actually wheels. They are cubes with circles, and then these are mirrors. I use mirrors a lot. So it doesn't actually roll, but I see how you would think that.
And are those TV knobs on the side?
Yeah, basically that's the idea, yeah.
Yeah, that's, I too thought that they were wheels with TV knobs and the sort of, are those bulbs in the top?
Flash bulbs, yeah, flash cubes.
Yeah, 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 very much connected to all of that glamour, Hollywood, paparazzi, TV.
Yeah, when I saw this the first time, and you submitted other pieces too, it was, as not growing up here, I had no really connection to that. Even I can see some similarities, you know, to Germany, how I grew up. But still, this is all stuff what is actually foreign to me, or it used to be, you know, like at least. So, but it's interesting to just see this. And then when I talked with Eugene about the pieces too, which one he actually chose, because for me, the ones you sent, because they were all not related to me, I couldn't really choose except color-wise, you know, I would go with color then. And then with Eugene choosing that piece, I was like, okay, that must have been speaking to him, because I mean, he grew up in America at least, you know. So, but it's, there's still similarities, maybe not the Marlboro and stuff, but I mean, obviously the Germans still smoke like crazy. But there's definitely similarity to go into this box, except we don't have, you know, the Hollywood aspect, or you're bringing your own experience into that, you know. But it's very interesting to hear about it. When Jared said about the aha thing, that was actually really interesting too, because this was my first thing too when I saw that. I was like, oh, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, you know, if I can just share an anecdote, something that happened while I was working on this piece was, it was about the experience of being on the soap opera very briefly, but also I happened upon the box of Ivory Snow laundry detergent. And I was reminded that when I was a little boy, my older brother and a cousin used to torment me and tell me that I was a free gift in a box of laundry detergent, that I hadn't actually been born, but yeah, I was a free gift in a box of laundry detergent. So I've kind of got that kid kind of popping out of the box. That was fun to kind of have that memory pop up in making this.
Oh, I bet, yeah. Okay, let me go.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Let's
Thank you.
see. Oh, okay. Just really fast. We are like really long into almost 2 hours, but that is actually a photo of mine I took this year, taking it literally, reflections. It's the Walt Disney Hall in LA, and it's one of the places I actually like to just go there and hang out. Now it's actually a little bit better because there's not so many people there, or if you go really early in the morning, it's actually almost a Zen-like place, because they have a little garden around it too if you go there, and there's a fountain. It's beautiful. But this is one of the shots where I always think like people should look up more, or people should look down more, or, you know, just take your heads out of your phone and just see what is around you. And I think a lot of people, when they go to the Disney Hall too, it's all about what they see there, but they don't look up. So, and I just thought there was a really cool view, abstract view of the Disney Hall, and it was just a moment. I just pretty much when I take photos, sometimes I just want to see. I want to show what I see, because some people they just don't look up.
Walt Disney Concert Center is so great for photography. It's like, you know, wherever you go, you know, there's something sort of guiding the eye. So
Yeah,
it's sort of, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You can do a reflection of yourself in there too, and if you hit the right angle, and it's just it's beautiful there.
Doing black and white for this, I think, was a really good choice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful textures, Connie. That's a Frank Gehry architecture, right? Frank Gehry?
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't been there in years. I grew up in LA, and used to love to go downtown, and I love architecture, and I love the way that you captured this shot is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I love it. And I also like the red background again. And I like the flat shape on the top. It really accentuates all the other forms. It's really bold decision. I love it.
It's really a beautiful place. I mean, if you haven't been, you should go there and just look up too. There's so much going on there in every corner. Even the plants they have there. There's some plants I haven't seen before. It's really cool. Let me go to the next one. The other two I have now are pretty much reflections of our culture and America today.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's great.
It's like you know, we're using things and we just throw it away and we just leave it somewhere. Also, politically, what's going on this year was not this year, the last 4 years actually was pretty horrible, and it's the poorness of the country too. You know, the thing for me, growing up in Germany, I grew up in East Germany, so I know also some other things that West Germans maybe didn't experience. The wall came down when I was 23 years old. So, but what America, or what is here is, and don't get me wrong, I love America. I love the people here. I love living here because there's a different freedom to it, but also certain things like health insurance or like taking care of your people. This country doesn't do it, you know, they just care about money. And that's really depressing and really sad. And that's what you see in these things too. This were places, they were like beautiful, beautiful places, but they run out of money and there was no help. And it's just, they just leave everything, you know, everything is just broken down. So for me, this is a reflection of America today, which was probably going on a longer time than the last 4 years, but.
This question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Connie, where is the location of the two motel and the car location? Where was that?
It's California. It's out of California. It's probably on the way. I did a road trip on the way to Utah, but this is still California.
Very cool. I love it. I love the representation of, you know, just about comparing the cultures. And because I grew up in Los Angeles, and I was with a German partner, a long-term partner for many, many years, and spent a lot of time in Germany. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Route 66. I shot a documentary. Me and my crew, we went all over the US to talk about how we as Americans deal with grief. So we actually went to the Dakotas and we stayed on the reservation with the Lakota tribe.
Oh, wow.
And what was devastating is it all looked like this, like our beautiful indigenous people, totally dilapidated, run down, no, like nothing for them. And they're the original people, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so this is powerful, and it's the majority of what America looks like when you're really moving through it. In my experience, like, because we went all the way to West Virginia, from California all the way to West Virginia and back. So, and we spoke to lots and lots of people about how they deal with grief, and this is how it looks. I mean, this is our experience. It was like, wow, this is America. So really beautiful. Great job. I love it.
Oh, thank you. It's also, how America treats their own people, It's just sad. Okay, let's move
Absolutely.
on.
Oh, I was going to make sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just wanted to say, I'll be super fast, I guess. I was going to say that I don't love this about reality, but you really, with the black and white, you really accentuated how decayed everything is. And it's almost, it's like a zombie movie or something. The black and white highlights that no effort has been made to restore or help many of these things. And while I agree with what you said, most of my art I tend to make very political cartoon oriented. And Trumpism is terrible. One of the things I appreciate about the past 4 years, though, is that it's gotten a lot of Americans to finally reflect on the fact that money is valued more than lives. So hopefully your piece is one more thing that contributes to people having this realization and hopefully doing something about it and affecting some positive change.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go. Here we go. And one more. There we go. Debbie, you are up.
Hi, thank you, Eugene.
Hey, Debbie.
And Connie for having me included in this show. So the way my brain works, if you want to know, is I kind of am attracted to like eccentric subject matter, obviously. And so with this piece, I had just watched a documentary on Eugene Sandow. He was a bodybuilder in like the late 1800s. And, before steroids. So that's why, he's not, super muscular on this. And I thought, well, that would be kind of an interesting, subject to do. And then I wanted to figure out a way to present it in a way that wouldn't be boring and in a way that I hadn't seen it done before. As far as like, trying to pull in the reflections theme, I mean, everything that an artist does is through the lens of how they see the world. So I know I see the world kind of askew, so that's how the art comes out. So and also if I can manage to infuse a little humor into something, this is kind of like on one hand it's like showing that there's no limits to what we might do to impress the object of our affection, right? It's like, look at me, I can do this, so it's kind of like that, the subtext behind behavior sometimes, and the things that we would do. He's made out of was sculpted in clay and then cast in bronze and then hand painted. So this one's called Look Ma No Hands. So
such a great title.
No hands, I love it. I love it. It's very funny, quirky. I love it. And it's very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you. I try not to be boring.
You want to go and do the next? Okay, one more. There we go.
So in this piece, I wanted to create, you know, kind of a sexy, sensuous sculpture. And again, I was thinking about how can I do this in a way that's not going to be cliche and that I've seen 1,000 times. So I wanted to try to do something that was different. And then I've used twins in some of my other pieces as well. I think it adds an interesting dynamic because like on this piece, it's sort of like, well, is she masturbating or is there like two entities having sex or like what's going on there? You know, it's like, so, I mean, I made it and I don't even know. So it's like, but it's interesting and it gets people to look at it maybe for another minute. It adds kind of an interesting dynamic to it.
This is one of my favorite pieces. I especially love the view from the back, actually, where you can't see their faces. If the second photo was a painting of the exact same piece, I would still love it. I like the ambiguity about it. All the things you just said about, is it masturbation? Is it sex? What is it? Does anybody even know? Does it matter? But what's interesting is when you can't see their faces, you can't tell if the other one is pulling back away from it. And I think that makes it a really interesting piece. You don't know if they like being with each other or not. So I think there's a lot to explore with this piece. I find it really interesting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and like I said, this is the two pieces we actually, maybe one day, you know, I think you have to do like a video, like 365 or something that we can.
I think I'll try for the next submission, you know, I'll try to do a video of
Maybe
something.
we can try something and test it out before, you know, that I'm not, because sometimes, you know, the thing is like when we end one of the exhibitions and get the next one, I will have like 5 days and this stresses me out. So maybe we should just do it like anyway and try it out. That would be actually good.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be lovely. But I love your art.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's do next. Who is next?
Next one should be Christophe, but
Yes.
he had to go.
He had to go?
Yeah, he did have to go. But these, what Christophe does a lot is very expressive paintings, but he always paints about Los Angeles, but these were his like LA Weekly series on his reflections about Los Angeles.
Oops. Okay. This is Brian. Is Brian still here with us?
Let me see. No, it does not look like it.
Okay.
This one's so good. I wish he was here.
I know that most of his work that he's been doing recently is painting on mirrors. So there's actually a mirror behind all of that.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's go to the next one then, because we are like late anyway. So next one after Brian is...
Should be Jared.
Oh, there we go, Jared.
Oh, neat. Cool.
You are up, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so I did these two pieces that are here. This one is called Alone with Her Thoughts, and the one next to it is called Pull My Finger. I agree really hard with what I've heard said throughout this show, which is that, you know, it's a bit more enlightening to hear other people's interpretations than to hear my own. This one's called Pull My Finger. So, and I actually have this one right outside. It's framed by a wide black frame. So if anybody wants to imagine that, that's how it looks. It's in a black frame. And yeah, I'd actually rather hear what other people have to say first before I say anything about it, if I'm being honest. If people do have anything to say about it. I don't know.
the first impression when I saw the second piece, the Pull My Finger, it was for me like the devil is pulling my finger. Somehow, I think it's the red and everything, what was going on. And then I was like looking closer, and it was almost like a play, a sexual play looking to me after that.
Yeah, that all makes sense. Yeah.
Taking the devil out of it. But a more kind of on the painful side sexual play.
Yeah, that definitely ties in with it. I will say that one of the more interesting days I had with this piece, I submitted it to an art show where it actually won an award. I got first place at that art show for this piece, and I was really, really proud of that. I was excited.
Congrats.
Thank you. The thing that was weird about it was that the audience at this show was largely much older people, and most of the pieces there were very representational. It was drawings of flowers, drawings of teapots and stuff like that. And then my piece was there, Pull My Finger, which I thought was an extremely blatantly sexual piece. And I had a lot of people coming up to me who were really trying to be polite in how they were talking about it. And some people said some really interesting things. I heard some really very varied interpretations of it. Some people asking me if it, you know, had sumo wrestlers for some reason, stuff like that. So, some people thought they were both male. Some people thought they were male and female. I made it with the intention of it being generally ambiguous. But where it got interesting was I noticed people at this particular show were coming up to me and saying it like, is this a picture of, you know? And I'd say, what is it a picture of? And they're like, you know, the thing that starts with an S. And I'll be like, what is it? I still don't know what you're saying it's a picture of. So it was really amusing that I got an award from a bunch of people who their interpretation of it was all over the place, and none of them felt like they could comment on it. Like their politeness was holding them back, perhaps, or their sense of, if you want to call it modesty, religiousness, whatever you want to call it. So I'm very proud that they liked it, and it led to some very interesting interactions where people struggled to say what I think they wanted to say. So yeah, so I like that story around this. Yeah, what you were saying was very much what I went into it making. I wanted to make something that showed that sometimes pain and pleasure can either be the same thing, or confusingly for the people involved, sometimes it can be hard to tell apart. And that's one of the really dangerous things in life sometimes, is when you experience something that both hurts you and thrills you, and then you don't know how to break yourself apart from it. So that's ultimately what a large part of my thought process was in making it. And for Alone with Her Thoughts, that one was about looming anxiety. That one was very much, I made during quarantine. And I'm always trying to find ways to visualize things that are harder to say with words, and things that might be too painful to say with words. And in the case of Alone with Her Thoughts, I wanted to show what it was like to just feel anxiety. And I was thinking about how to visualize anxiety. And what I realized is it's like this ongoing TV static in someone's head. So that's what I thought that she should be, is a face that's just dissolving into static rage and confusion. There's something behind her, whether she can see that or not, we don't know. But there's a presence with her, and to say that you're alone with your thoughts becomes sort of an oxymoron, especially when you have this creeping feeling all the time. It's not a fun thing to have around.
It's really, and you can really see it. Like you can see the pain, but you can also see, because of the colors, you can also, it's like a seizure-like thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
The colors going on, but it's also, there's a beauty to it, you know?
Thank you.
And you can really see in the whole painting the beauty to it too, even it's still painful.
Yeah, I was aiming for an effect like she was stumbling around a little bit. Because, you know, we are all, you know, sometimes literally stumbling around when we're trying to get away from ourselves. But in her case, I have the green there sort of suggesting that she's in the outside world, and yet, no matter where she goes, this anxiousness is behind her until she confronts it, or maybe even after she confronts it, but at least that would be a first step.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, really fantastic
Thank
work.
you. Thank you.
So much to read into either of them. I mean, that's what's great.
Good.
Is see what different people come up with.
Thank you. Something that I didn't submit for this is that a lot of my artwork leans into the political, especially, as of the past 4 years, as we've all said. So in some ways, I would argue that these are some of my less political stuff. They're more internalized. So if any of you guys like political cartoons, I do a lot of that. I'd post a political cartoon once a week.
That's awesome. Are you doing Instagram or you have like a blog? What do you do?
Instagram. Every week I post a political cartoon on Instagram.
I checked out your Instagram too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's at Jared Sketches.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you again, by the way, for putting on this show, because this is such a fabulous collection of work, and there's so many artists who I now know about who I might not have known about otherwise.
I know. It's just like, this is the thing too. Like, it's so much fun. I meet so many people, artists from like not even just the US now too.
Yeah.
It's just you connect with people you wouldn't have before, and we're on Zoom every day with our work anyway. So this is maybe more like a happy hour kind of thing, and a little.
Yeah.
Because I used to do this like with Eugene too, and I have a friend Sonia. We crashed like art parties in LA like all the time. You're like,
that's fun to do. I miss that.
So much fun. And then it's like sometimes some Saturdays you don't need dinner because they have, they serve you some little foods there. You can drink for free. You stumble out of the gallery at midnight. You're drunk. You're not hungry anymore.
Okay,
And
I need to go to the
art.
ones you're going to, because the drinks have never been free at the ones I've been
Are you
to.
serious? Okay, I have to hook you
Not
up
usually.
when this is over again.
When
But
the pandemic's done.
Can you organize a crashing party? We can also come. You seem to know the right places.
Yeah, let's have a party crashing party.
Party crashing party.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Okay,
I would love to join as well.
Let's do it.
Okay, we send it out to everybody.
When everybody's vaccinated, that's the plan.
That's right. We're gonna do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Let's finish this up here. That we have some German friends here still. They want to go to bed.
Oh yeah, you guys got to go to sleep.
It's getting late. Yeah, it's getting late for them. Okay, so let's go.
I should add, I was in Germany for a while, so it's really nice to see all these reminders of.
There we go.
Okay, that's
NIRALI, you're up.
Thank you. Yeah, this piece is called The Wall. It's pretty huge, 5 feet by 4 feet. This is the biggest one I've made. I grew up in India, and I have a problem with the walls here. They're very smooth and finished and perfect. And I grew up looking at the forms in the walls, and that was my training in art, like how my mother would guide me. So I wanted to pay homage to the wall in my childhood house. So that's why I wanted to depict all the stains and all the imperfections. And, in India, like they don't have money. So the one wall is, even if it is like, being dismantled or it's falling down, they'll put something on it and plaster it and do this and that, and there's seepage of water. They'll do things to make it look right. It never gets to like how the American walls look, but it's strong, it's sturdy, and it has a richness of its own, and that's what leads to all the beautiful forms. And that's my childhood favorite spot that I wanted to represent in this.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So yeah, this is called The Wall. So that's
Really
like
beautiful. And we have 3 pieces from you. Let's see. I don't know if I can maybe zoom out that we see all of them at the same time. Let's see. That's your next one.
Yeah, this one came out of like such a bad time in as far as like zero confidence in artistic abilities. The thumb, the left one, which I really like, the center one.
Ooh, there we go. There we go. We're on the center.
If you can go a little bit closer, we can see it better. I know it's a little bit tricky.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was trying to do the prints because they were trying for my job. They were asking me to come with my thumbprint, and I was getting annoyed because after COVID, you're asking me to come. So I wanted the thumbprint shows my identity at the same time. I come from India, so they wanted that. I was thinking of those henna prints, and I wanted to like make a image which is combination of the henna print, but I'm not that traditional, so I wanted to improvise on that. So it was all like a mixed mash of a lot of things I was trying to do, like trying to make contours in the art therapy way, or trying to make my print, or trying to do. So it was a mixture of a lot of things, and that's what it came up with.
That's beautiful. That's so funny. I thought of it as a thumb, actually.
Yeah, it was meant to be. Then I got tired. Then I was like, I'm going to assert my own patterns. Like in India, they would like study the patterns in your thumb, and they would foretell your future using that pattern in your thumb.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So like Buddha is supposed to have perfect patterns, and I obviously don't. So then I wanted to make my own pattern, not be limited by what pattern has been given to me.
Right.
So I added my own pattern to that.
I love that.
Fantastic. I really love the wall one a lot.
Is there a particular symbol of, because you created your own pattern of, I guess?
Good question. Actually, I'm thinking because maybe like in my grandma's house, there was one pattern that was there in the toilet. And then I keep making that pattern since I'm 50 years old almost. And I keep making that pattern again and again. It's not the same pattern, but I keep making that kind of tendrils over and over and over again. So, I mean, henna has certain pattern, and then like I come to America, so everybody's like, you know, in the beginning, you're like flexible to do any job. And I remember being very insulted when somebody asked me to do henna. I was like, I'm not a henna artist. I'm a fine artist. So I wanted to improvise it. And then, now I'm teaching. So I'm teaching henna. So it's kind of a mix mash of a lot of layers of identity that I have, and the confusions in the layers of identity that I have, and therefore the thumbprint and the layers of forms.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
And that one, I thought I'll make a happy painting about masturbation, but it became very sad. I paid homage to that one lady. There's a woman you can see in the background. She's this Asian girl from USC, same college that I went to, and she did it with 500 men in the same session. So I paid homage. Yeah. She did 500 men in probably 2 days, but it's the same session. She did 500 men. So I wanted to pay homage to her. So you see 2 images of her. So I'm also like trying to bring in elements of porn, and then there's somehow this old Indian guy popped up at the background. I don't know what, and then there's a lioness too. I don't know what all came up. I was trying to make a happy image of self-love, but this is all that came up. Middle-aged person.
I must say, this is actually, I was so drawn to this piece. I love it. It's so sex positive and gorgeous colors, and it has so many messages, just such a freedom to it.
I agree with you, Andy. Seriously, yeah.
Same. This is my favorite of your 3 pieces here, I think.
Oh, thank you. I shall make more
it's
of
really
my
well done.
self-love.
What'd you say?
I shall make more of my self-love images.
Good.
Oh,
yeah.
Go for it.
Listen, we're all artists, so all of this is technically masturbation anyway.
Well said, Jared. Well said.
Thank you.
We're pleasing ourselves all the time.
Yay.
Every time we talk about our artwork, that's what it is.
All right, I'm gonna go to the next.
Thank you for your feedback.
Because we can.
Really marvelous.
Love it.
David. Is David still with us?
David's not with us anymore. He had to go, but he is really known for his pool pieces and painting reflections. So these were 2 of the choices that we chose.
Yeah, you can see too what he submitted, the red dots, they already sold. But
No wonder he left.
But it's amazing. His art is really amazing. I mean, you know.
It's spectacular.
Yeah.
And then now we have, and sorry for keeping you up so long, Gabriela
Yes.
DUMITRESCU.
This is so clever. I
Yeah,
can't think
well,
of something
thanks.
so clever.
Gabriela, you up?
Am I? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks very much for having me. So I do photo collage. And this is a piece from my cycle Avalon. This is Paradise. And this piece and the other piece that I'm showing are reflections on future. This is the positive future, that's a utopia. And the other one is a dystopian vision. And maybe we can see them both so we can
Yeah,
compare them.
let's try to, I can zoom out too, so let's see.
That's cool, thanks very much.
Okay, hold on. And now
Yeah,
we are
kind of.
just zooming
Yeah.
out a little bit that we have them. Both.
Perfect.
Okay,
Lovely, thanks very much.
totally.
So in Avalon, it's about Avalon. I don't know if you know Avalon. It's the island of miracles and a mystical island between this reality and the other reality, whatever that might be, in between worlds. And it's a place of healing and magic. Whereas in the other picture, the other work is one from my series, The One-Eyed, Die Einäugigen. And this is a picture, the eye in the collage is a photo of my daughter's eye, actually, beautiful blue eyes she has. And it's about, the fear I have of what we're going to leave to our children. What's the world going to look like? Is it going to be AI, all of it? Are we going to not be human anymore? Are we all going to be AI at one point? That's basically it. So on one side you have Avalon, the utopia. On the other side you have, you know, my fears of the future. What world are we going to leave to our children? That's basically it.
It's interesting that you divided it along utopia and dystopia, because to me, the tone of both, and I love the orange one especially, but the tone of both suggests an ambiguity, at least for me, where
It is. Yeah.
yeah, on the orange one, it could be a utopia where it's like, oh, the sun's coming up, nature still exists, we're gonna get through it, whatever it is, you know, humanity triumphs over whatever humanity does to itself, I suppose. So that one feels kind of tranquil in that sense. But then the dystopian one has a coziness to it, actually. Even with all the cold of it, it feels cuddly almost. Feels cozy. So I think it actually really works when read either way. At least for me.
Yes, it's all ambiguous, of course. There is never a decisive statement you could make about anything, I think. You know, it's all ambiguous, really. Life is ambiguous. It's good, it's bad, it's dark, it's bright, it's black and white.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just the fact that it's a human eye, it sort of, to me, it suggests a perseverance, like regardless of what happens, we'll still be here. I mean, I guess your point with AI would be that the question is in what capacity would we be here, and what form would that take, and would it still even be human? But to me, seeing that human eye at the center of it suggests that we'll get through whatever hardships happen. I wish we would work together to make the hardships not have to happen in the first place, but it's nice to know that we survive it.
We will see. Our children will
We'll
see.
see. Somebody will see. So
Our children, their children, I don't know. Somebody will see. Yes.
yeah. Hopefully they see good stuff.
Yes.
It's also amazing to see that at the end you think that only the eye will remain. So like a point of view is what will remain. That's
right.
And I also like the pun, the wordplay, AI and NI, like artificial
I was thinking
intelligence
that
and
too.
AI.
Yeah.
Lovely. It's so clever. How come I can't think of these kind of clever things? It's amazing.
So My first question is, are these flat or are they actually dimensional?
No, no, they're digital photo collages.
Okay, and then my first impression when we saw the whole video walkthrough was, I think it gave me what you wanted. The orange one was, I feel, is very tranquil and like awe-inspiring, and then the blue one is so disturbing with the eyeball looking back out of the painting back at me.
Good.
I think you were successful there.
Thank you.
In both of them.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Gabriela. I know you in Germany, you probably want to go to bed. Can I ask you a question? Dumitrescu, this sounds like Romanian to me.
Dumitrescu, yes, it's Romanian. I was born in Romania.
Okay, my dad is Bulgarian, so
Yeah.
so it sounded very familiar. Okay, okay, good. So you're in Berlin now?
Yes.
Okay.
In
cool.
Berlin now, and yeah, kind of enjoying the last few days of soft lockdown. From Wednesday, I heard we'll have, you know, very
Hard lockdown, yes.
Curfew at 10.
Yeah.
No going out after 10 in the evening, so on until Christmas, maybe. Who knows?
Well, I'm gonna hook you up as soon as we can travel again. I'm traveling to Berlin all the time. Actually, normally once or twice a year. Right now, none. But because my mom lives in Magdeburg, so
Oh, really?
so I fly into Berlin all the time, and then my family, my sister and my nephew, they're in Leipzig.
Ah,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so I
Well,
hope to see you in Berlin.
Yeah, totally. It would be fun. I will let you know.
Yes, please do.
Thank you for being part of the show. If you want to stay on, you're just still welcome. We have to go back to one more person. Eric wasn't able to join us in the beginning. He had one of the beginning pieces, so I'm gonna go back there and go and see that he can talk about his stuff too.
Eric, are you still here?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, so let's do next. Okay, let's just go through it until Eric comes up.
I think there's a way you can click the corner and then it shows you a list of the artists. You might be able to click straight to him.
This is just started.
I might be mistaken though, but I thought that was a thing.
List of works, you're right. Eric. Okay, so we're gonna go straight to Eric's. Thank you, you're right.
You're welcome.
Cool.
Well, thank you. I hope the Germans are still awake. These two pieces are a similar kind of approach in that I am primarily an abstract painter, but for these two pieces, I started off with abstract paintings. The one on the left is called Dante's Gate, which is a reference to Dante's Inferno. And the process I was focusing on was painting with glazes. And then I kind of got to a point where I did sort of a Rorschach test on myself and stepped back and said, what is this? What things am I seeing in this painting? And in the upper left corner, that figure looked like one of the statues on the Medici tomb. And so it kind of reminded me of, and there was also a dark figure in the center that looked like it was kind of coming out of, or entering or coming out of some kind of ethereal space. So I decided to push the painting to be more figurative and be a representation of somebody either entering as going into hell. So I added some of the flames at the character's feet and made the central dark shape into a more figure, more of a literal figure than just the original splotch that was there before. And in real life, this painting is only 15 by 19. And the one on the right, which is called Begging for Forgiveness, is 48 by 72. So that's a large piece for me. And this one started out also as an abstract painting. I was very inspired by Helen Frankenthaler's use of a lot of turpentine and using paint like a stain. So originally this painting was just a pure abstract painting using these stain techniques. And I painted in early 2018, and then if you'll remember the Tree of Life Synagogue massacre at a Jewish temple. And so that had a huge, I have a Jewish, one of my parents is Jewish, and so all the gun violence has had a lot of impact on me. And that particular one really spoke to me. So I decided to take this piece and push it in a figurative direction, and then morph to the colors and shapes to have a figure that was literally begging for their life. So in terms of how does this fit in with reflections, these are both sort of reflections on mortality and death. For me, the gun violence thing and the relationship with that and the pandemic is kind of a weird relationship in that, I don't know if you know the story by W.W. Jacobs called The Monkey's Paw, where somebody was wishing for something and they got the wish, but the cost of the wish was so extraordinarily above what the benefit of the wish was. So I had been wishing that gun violence could somehow be resolved, and ironically, the pandemic came along and has resolved gun violence, at least temporarily, to a large extent. So it's kind of a very weird trade-off of gaining and losing. So I'm going quickly too, because I'm trying to be sensitive to time, because we've all been on here a long time. But
I love both of these pieces. I love that you were willing to put the pain on there and have it actually feel like pain. You know, there's a compulsion sometimes when making art to try and make, you know, even terrible things, to try and fit them into a certain aesthetic that makes viewers, you know, comfortable, you know. And I think that I love these pieces because they're willing to present the human form in as painful a way as the thing that they're commenting on. So thank you for doing it like that.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the nice compliment.
Jared, it was actually really interesting what you said. Art or like in general to make people comfortable with their pain. And I think there's a lot of especially the African American culture here, that people the African Americans make us white people comfortable in their pain, you know? So that's, this actually speaks to me as there's two very painful, almost like, because of the colors too, almost like
it's harsh.
fire coming out of it too.
Yeah.
So it's very, very powerful. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And this is the first figurative stuff that I have had in any kind of public thing. So for me, this was a real nice piece of recognition, because I'm primarily an abstract painter. So this was very nice for me.
I think you might be able to lean more into it, actually.
Okay.
Just going from these.
Thank you for the encouragement.
I find it interesting that the asking for forgiveness is 48 by 72 inches. That's very interesting. I think the second one you said, what was the title of the painting?
I'm sorry. Actually, I missaid. You made me realize I misspoke the title of the painting. Although that wasn't psychological. It's called Begging for Mercy.
Oh.
So this person, you know, is on their knees and about to be murdered. You know, this is what I'm envisioning was happening in that synagogue. Wow. And they're reaching out with their arm, trying to defend themselves, even though it's a you know, obviously not a very powerful thing to do in the face of gunfire.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay, let me go out of the gallery and the screen sharing. We still can do whatever we want. I just wanted to stop the share. So there we go. So if you guys want to talk about whatever, we can still do that. Obviously, we're all people left from LA, I think. It's like some, maybe, I don't know, Germany. So we have time. I mean, I have time, obviously. If you guys
Depends
want
on
to
if
talk
who's
about
going
it
anywhere.
more, we definitely, I actually want to share how we got with this too, with Eugene and me. Eugene and me, we met in 2014. I was still living in San Diego, actually. And I came up to LA all the time as a photographer, and there was the Stigma Project, I think it was, right, Eugene?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes. And so I saw this guy over there lounging on the lawn, you know, and he had like, he was like, you know, really nicely, conservatively dressed, and then had the shorts on with this huge roses on it and Doc Martens. And I was like, I need to talk to this guy. So I went over there, and we became best friends since then. We actually made the cover of the LA Times this night. Because I think it was because of your outfit, definitely not because of me. But we both love art, and we are artists too, and we went to art shows, and we had this dream to actually create an art event every month where we just different locations and just really randomly, like a big hall or whatever, just have artists from whatever they do, and you just do it. You charge them $20. We have whiskey and tequila there, and have a food truck, and everybody just do whatever they want to do. And this didn't work out this well because it was pretty much the money, because renting this big halls, you think like it's there's nothing in there, but it's still too much. We still try and want to do that, but then the pandemic hit, and then we were talking, hey, why don't we do this virtually? You know, let's try it. And this is how this actually started. Also, the name Kunsthaus RoZig is it's a play on words. The RoZig, the first two letters is the name of my first dog, Roxy. The last three is Ziggy, that's my other dog. But also, if you just say RoZig in German, it's like pinkish. So it's like you see something through a pinkish glass, you know, it's like it's all happy and it's beautiful. And so we both agreed on this name to do that. This is how it came to it. And this is our third show. And this is our biggest show too, I have to say. And we're really, really, really excited. And it's just so lovely to meet all your people too, and to connect with you and see your art. It's just a different experience, you know. I don't know, Eugene, you wanna say something?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we wanted to do it. You and I always wanted to. We do art shows together, or when we did Art Hearts Fashion together, it was, I mean, we meet great artists, but they didn't necessarily get to be in very many galleries and what have you. And that's why we like doing the open call things, because you get a lot of people that have great work that wouldn't normally be seen. And we want to bring that together and put it together. And then also, I absolutely love doing these, like regular Zoom for work, whatever, I fucking hate it. But, you know, it's a necessary thing. But this, you actually get something out of this, and not too often do people get to hear from other artists. And then you might be inspired by hearing something or another viewpoint from someone else. And that's why we absolutely love doing this. So there's going to be a lot more of these.
Yes.
And it just kind of fell into the natural way to go about it, doing this during the pandemic. But this is a great thing, and it's turned into something great, and I'm very happy for it.
Yeah, and also I have to add to that, what you just started is, we really started this to have people also have a platform that they normally don't have one. You know, all kinds of people. So there is we really like for everything, support everything and everybody, unless you're right-winged.
Yeah, then
has nothing to do with us. I mean, we're really, really against that. So we're really about the love. We're all about the support, and not just like love, like like up this or whatever. We really like concrete, like share resources, do something against it, not just posts on Facebook or whatever. If you have any suggestion to where you said like, that's a good organization, we can support, we can donate things, we can donate our work, we can donate our time, whatever it is to make this world a better place, please, let's do all that. But there's no negativity and there's definitely no racism in any form here, or any negativity. I mean, we're just like, we don't even talk about it. You're done, out, that's it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, don't condone it whatsoever. Well, I mean, on our history
Beautiful
too.
attitude, and you're all really great. That's a beautiful attitude. Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree with what you're saying. I just said it in the chat, but you know, I'm very glad to hear what you're saying, because you know, when it comes to art shows being about inclusivity and stuff like that, and saying they're about love, a lot of them, you know, it's very easy to talk the talk and not walk the walk. But what you just said gives me a lot of confidence that you get what you're talking about, and
Yes,
that's very satisfying to hear.
Thank you. And it's really hard too, because I remember with my wife, Dalila, it was actually it was 4 years ago. We went to like, our kid had like get together, you know, with the school, whatever, you know, high schoolers or whatever. And we got along with these people really well. It was actually really beautiful. And there was this lady in a wheelchair, white lady, long white hair. And she seemed really, really cool. And we had a really, really, like actually really nice conversation with her. And Dalila was all in with her. And then I just looked at the back of her wheelchair. And seriously, I'm not joking you. She had like a Trump sticker like this big on her wheelchair in the back. And I was like, okay, I'm done with you. And I just walked away. And Dalila was like, what just happened? I was like, well, just look at the back of the freaking chair. You know, this is like, and there was times in my life where when I was younger, I was like, oh, okay, they have a different opinion and stuff like, this has nothing to do with this. That's not a different opinion. This is racism. This is something we cannot accept. I mean, this is just against everything. This is against humanity, you know? And it's like, whatever her reasons are, they're just not okay. It's not right, you know? It's like, and I think,
none of the reasons ever hold up though, and they're never consistent too. That's the thing. That's how you know that a lot of their logic is hypocritical, not just hypocritical, but anytime, and I've really experienced this with a lot of my anti-Trump artwork, I found that when you call somebody on their argument not making sense,
I'm going to turn this off.
and they keep that argument going regardless, or they'll just shift to a different argument, it becomes clear that words aren't the thing of value to them. They want to support what they want to support because it hurts other people, and that's the thing they're in favor of, but they can't say that. So of course they have to dress it up with other words, like they can't just say they hate Muslims or whatever. So instead they have to say, I believe in the safety of this country. And if you point out how what they're doing doesn't actually support the safety of the country, they have to couch it in different words.
Right.
But it's all just a dance around what they actually feel, but isn't socially acceptable to say out loud.
Right. And you're right, you know, and I have like people too on Facebook, like people I know for a long time, actually. They're like, it doesn't matter if you vote for Trump, I'm still your friend. We don't agree with each other, but I'm still your friend. And I was like, no, we're not friends. This is and then they don't understand what they're saying. And I was like, this is your privilege talking right now, because you actually can choose that. There's people, they cannot choose that, you know? And it's like, so block.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's just, they don't get it.
I have to add something to this. I agree with everything you just said, but also like creating this kind of opportunities where not only we are sharing art with each other, but also like Zoom conferences are such an important thing to build actually community. And we know how actually LA is spread all around, and having community and being part of the art community is really hard. You know, it's something that we are enjoying to go from party to party, from opening to opening, but it's actually very disconnected. And I'm coming from Serbia. I was living in Paris for a while. I visited all European cities, and I know that the experience is completely different. You can actually walk from the gallery to the gallery. But in LA, you really have to sit down in the car, find the parking space, be somewhere like short amount of time, not even have a chance to listen to the artist, what they are talking about. So this is really beautiful. I appreciate, I'm so sorry I didn't have enough time to apply on my own to be part of this show. But definitely I'm gonna be applying for the next opportunities. And I wanted to actually ask you to maybe say something more about your future plans and maybe to present your project. What are the goals for this online exhibition space gallery?
Well, we gonna keep going. We want to do it. Really, the goal is once a month. It's a lot of work because we have to do, like, you know, today is like the opening reception, the opening, like the gallery is up. We want to have it till the end of December, but we have a call. I think at the 15th it closes for Dreams. The problem is with this one is we probably extend that because we got so many video submissions, and it doesn't really work that well with the video, you know, with the sound and stuff. We just realized too. So, and I mean,
we're both learning. It's a learning process for.
It is learning process, but also like it's and we do love the video, like, but also it's actually not about the video when we started that. So it's not that we disregard the video, but it's not the main focus actually. The main focus is really like, you know, paintings, photographs, mixed media, you know, statues, you know, all this stuff. But we definitely keep it going once a month. That's the goal. And connecting with the Zoom too, because I think not just the artwork, like what you said too, connecting with the artist, and we can just talk and we have time. That's actually really nice to do this too. I just try to keep the tour, you know, when we go through the pictures and talk about it, a little bit shorter maybe, because it's very long this time too, and I cannot really cut it down much. So I'm gonna post it on YouTube. I don't know who's gonna watch this because it's like 2 hours long. You know, who's like not really interested except us because we're in there. But in the future, I think I'm gonna try to keep it like this one, the recording down to an hour, and then we can, what we're doing right now, we can do forever. I don't care, you know?
Yeah. Can we do live? Have you thought about doing a live, like doing what we just did live? Because I feel like people would absolutely tune in. I would.
We should, I have to look into actually, the only thing is why I didn't do it live is because I don't know how to live share a screen with the gallery. We probably can do the live talk afterwards. I don't know if you actually on Facebook or Instagram, can you share screens?
Yeah, you can share screens in Zoom. We do, I work with this group and we do like 2 live shows a week and it works perfect.
Oh.
And one time it's like, on Thursdays it's 2 hours, on Fridays we do like a 45-minute live thing and it works beautifully. And we share screens and all kinds of stuff, so.
Oh, that would be something, Eugene. We should look into it. So you do it on Facebook?
We have this streaming. So I'll send you the email with how we do it, because it goes on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch.
Oh, I would love
LinkedIn.
that.
We literally get thousands and thousands of views, and so I mean I feel like people would gobble this up live. It's great content, and everyone has such an incredible point of view in the way they're speaking about art. I mean, I don't know how to talk about my art like this. So hearing everyone talk about art, it's very exciting. I'm learning stuff. And I feel like lots of people would love it. So I'll send you the information because it's simple to do.
That would be awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah.
No problem.
And also, I also wanted to second that, like, even if I love this Zoom format, and also even if an artist is talking, like if I went to a real gallery, the artist could be done talking to other group and now they're tired of repeating their spiel again. So this way we get to hear it fresh one time. So that was really powerful. And about sharing videos, like I work as I teach filmmaking. So we another way to share videos would be like, suppose I have a YouTube video, I share screen and I can show my video to everybody. So I can show my audio and video in a very nice way. Like it doesn't, so I'm not dependent on what your website can handle or not handle in terms of whatever the speed is.
Yeah,
So
so we can do like links or something. Yeah, right now
that's great solution. That's great.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, we're gonna talk about it with Eugene, and
Yeah,
that's great feedback, guys. Thank you.
Well, and this is in its infancy. I mean, this is our third show, but to answer Voislov's question, we definitely are continuing this. It's an ongoing learning process, but it's all about the artist and involving it. It's kind of like its own community in a way, and garnering new people time by time. And it doesn't matter that it's a lot of work, because in the end, like Connie and I have actually figured out a symbiosis that works really well between both of us to be able to run it and do it. And the end result is absolutely worth it. But yeah, we're going to keep doing this platform, and then just find better ways to reshape and tweak everything to get it to a point to where it's a smooth running machine. So yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, we definitely plan on continuing doing this, and are going to keep doing it.
Yeah,
I
and
plan to keep
everybody-
submitting for it, so thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and let's keep in contact, everybody. So what we're gonna try is we're gonna save you guys emails and info anyway. In the chat, you guys probably saw we have each other's Instagram and stuff. Let's just connect, you know. And sometimes even, you know, you guys don't show or whatever. Let's just come in at least and check and just talk. And let's just keep it like a happy hour or something once a month.
I'd be cool with that. Yeah, and I did follow a bunch of people on Instagram, but I don't know that I have everybody. So if anybody who I haven't followed yet, please put your stuff in here,
I
because
have a
all of you
list
guys have
somewhere
amazing
too,
work.
and we can send the list out via email too.
Sweet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to say thank you, Eugene and Connie and everybody else. I was the first one, so I didn't have. It was very surprising for me to be the first one, so I didn't have the opportunity to thank you for the opportunity to present my works, and I really appreciated to see all the works of everybody that is participating in the exhibition. And I would really like to stay in touch for further exhibitions, or, you know, just connection, like artistic talks or whatever would be possible for us.
Absolutely, that would be great. Yes.
All that. A bunch of you guys seem to be filmmakers. I'd be really curious to see some of your work beyond what I saw today. Sarah, I think you said you're a filmmaker, right?
Yes, I'm a filmmaker.
I'd love to see some of what you've made. Same with NIRALI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, you should maybe email us and share your work. I mean, you know, wherever you when it's online, if you can.
Yeah, let's get everything like circulated.
Let's do it.
I love this. I love this. Thank you for
you guys.
creating this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your art. It was lovely.
Thank you for showing
Thanks,
me
everyone.
around.
Hopefully, we can all hang out once the pandemic is over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be lovely, actually. Yes.